Welcome to another episode of Good Morning Arizona. Starting a little bit early this morning. Usually I'm on between 8 and 8:30, and I popped on here at 7:53 in the morning. So we're going to wait around, see if somebody joins in on the live chat. We are live on Facebook and YouTube at the Arizona Timeless Tourist. Again, I try to do this every morning between 8 and 8:30 when possible. This morning I hit the go live button, and here we are, 7 minutes before 8 o'clock. So got an early start this morning. I got everything prepped. Got my cup of coffee. So I'll give you some time before we start. If you want to grab a cup of coffee, get something to eat, get a bagel or something, or whatever you do in the morning before we start. Some awesome locations this morning. Hey, good morning to you. Is that Space Galleria? Let me bring that up. My eyes are not very good, but we can put it up on the screen. Again, if anybody wants to join in on the chat, ask questions as we go through some of these spots in the great state of Arizona this morning. There's kind of a theme to this morning's spots as I was going through picking the topics or places I was going to talk about. I'm like, like 2 or 3 of these things are almost the exact kind of locations, but it's still going to be great. It's still going to be great. I didn't have time to go back through and redo some of the pictures, so we're going to have a good time this morning. Again, early this morning. So if you want to run out and get that cup of coffee in the house there, bango. I got mine. It's good stuff. Quiet in the house. That's why I'm doing this early in the morning, folks. I used to do this. People said this is not a good time. I'm like, well, it is called Good Morning Arizona. So, but a lot of people are used to me coming on around 7, 8 o'clock Mountain Standard Time for the Arizona Timeless Tourist. And well, the internet in the house with everybody using it and what we do on a daily basis for business, it was just this picture was just all blurry all the time. So Matthew David, thanks for joining a gig. Good morning to you. Hey, we can start it off by what is today? I mean, across the United States, people are getting up and they're excited about today. Does anybody know why people are excited about today? I am one of those people because I love April 1st, folks, because it's a great day to kick something off. And a lot of kids, I can guarantee, are probably home from school today, getting ready to maybe go to one of these locations if they were lucky enough to get tickets. But it's a great day. Let's put a little graphic up here. What do we got going on today across, not just here in the great state of Arizona, across the United States? This is what we got, folks. It's opening day. That's right, opening day for Major League Baseball. This, a lot of people take the day off for this. I know that the Arizona Diamondbacks, I believe, are on at 1:10 today. So if you're at work, you're going to miss it. If you're just not home, you're going to miss it. Maybe though, you take your cell phone out at work and you click on at 1:10 today and check out the Arizona Diamondbacks at the San Diego Padres. Normally the Arizona Diamondbacks, they are home for opening day of baseball. Mostly, they usually got like 15, 16 home games in the month of April. And this year is just totally different. They got like 9 games to start the season off at home. And Arizona Diamondbacks, they don't open or have their home opener till the 9th of April. They're on the road till the 9th of April to a week from tomorrow. They will be back at Chase Field with 20,000 fans in the stands. But yeah, opening day for Major League Baseball. If you're a baseball fan, today's a big day. It's a big day out there. All right, let's take that off there, right? Let's take that off there. But that's the beautiful Chase Field right there. Let's see what we got going on here. Anybody else around here? Got a few people on. A few people woke up early this morning. I'm going to take a couple more sips of coffee before I start this thing up here. Yeah. All right. All right. Well, without further ado, let's get started on some of these great spots to go out to. Again, we got a little bit of a theme to some of these locations. But before I get started on that, I wanted to go in here and check out the weather. You know, it is Good Morning Arizona. What are you waking up to down here in the valley? And I got up right now, right down here around the Gilbert, Arizona area. It's 64 degrees this morning. Absolutely beautiful out. But as it says here, it's going to be 93 degrees today. 93 degrees. Absolutely unbelievable day. You know, and Saturday we're looking at 92. We're looking at a beautiful weekend to get out and explore this great state. All right, so, what we got going on here? Let's hide that right there real quick. We got Justin's on here. Any good history on the land the baseball park sits on? Yeah, I'm sure there is. Especially now you're talking about Chase Field. You know, when they were putting up those, if you got the Chase Field garage there on 2nd Street, is it? Right next, it's like attached to Chase. So 2 years ago when they started building that apartment complex, I know they had to stop that because they found something, but not, you know, the whole city of Phoenix sits on some major ancient sites. Because I'll do another segment. You threw me off on that, Justin. I'll do another segment on some of the stuff that was found in downtown Phoenix, especially when we're doing the storm drainage back in, I want to say 2009 or 2010. They were replacing the drainage system on some of the streets, and they came across a major Hohokam site, a lot of pit houses and stuff like that. So we'll get into that, and that wasn't very far from the stadium. All right, let's 74 in Queen Creek. It's beautiful. 74 in Queen Creek. Yeah, well, maybe mine's wrong. You know, I got like 400 weather apps out there, and I got the app that just came with the phone. Just purchased this phone. You know, the plan was up, and I got a new phone like 2 weeks ago, which is extraordinary, especially for my TikTok account. The camera and the pictures are extraordinary on this new phone. But it could be warmer than that. It is a beautiful day, Heather. So thanks for joining. There's Heather right here. Boom. 74 degrees in the lovely Queen Creek area. We're going to do some history on Queen Creek, too. World War II sites. World II POW camp there in Queen Creek. The Desert Well stage stop is in Queen Creek. What is that? That's on Sossaman and Chandler Heights Road. Most people miss it. They drive by it every day, don't realize that old stage stop is still sitting there. But the stage stop that you're looking at is actually the well where they brought the water out. It's like 100 plus feet deep. But I'm not going to get off topic here. I always do this. All right, let's hit a graphic here. All right. Anybody know I'm going to show you the picture. Boom. This is going to be our first location. Look at that view. As you can see, I got out of my Jeep when I was on this road because I left the Jeep door open. And my buddy's in there, though. You just can't see him. That is an unbelievable view. And that is the best part. If you can actually see the road, they actually really graded that little section out right there. Anybody possibly know where that could be at? And I'll tell you this. Before I tell you where it's at, this is a 4-wheel drive vehicle road. You should have a high clearance 4-wheel drive vehicle when you go into this location. The most ancient Native American sites are in this location in the whole state of Arizona. And this place is unbelievable, but really there are no roads. The roads are dirt. Okay, there are no like paved roads. It is a national monument. So there are a few national monuments that just opened up in the state of Arizona in the last 8 to 10 years. They have no roads. They're national monuments because they wanted to preserve the history that's inside of these places. And that's one of the reasons they did to this. This is Agua Fria National Monument. Agua Fria National Monument. Man, you want to go out there and take some unbelievable scenic pictures out there? Check Agua Fria National Monument out. It's absolutely unbelievable. Let me just roll over to the chat, make sure nobody else is coming. Okay. Let's back over here to the graphics section. And we're in Agua Fria. Now, I took this picture off the freeway. It's at exit 259 for Agua Fria National Monument. If you're heading out of Phoenix and going to Flagstaff, you pass this all the time. It's the exit prior. Let me take that back. It's the exit before. What is it? No. Yeah. Before you get to this exit, you go to Bloody Basin Road. And after Bloody Basin Road exit is the Agua Fria National Monument exit. When you turn in off this exit to the right, there is this beautifully done dirt road. And you're going to be like, I don't know what Dean's talking about. This thing is easy. Yep, it's easy. First thing you don't want to do is go when after it rained. And I'm talking 10 to 12 days after it's rained. And if it was a hard rain and it rained for a couple of days, then you don't want to go back for a couple of weeks. What it is yeah, that area is almost like pavement dirt road. But after a couple of miles of that, you got to turn off of that onto the regular Agua Fria road. And it is pretty terrible, folks. And if it rained lately, then the river that you're going to have to cross that goes across the road is going to be running pretty quick, and it's going to be pretty deep. And you want to get it out and check it out before you go through it. But you're going to have to go through some water to get to the main part of the road. And then, the grooves in the road, the conditions of the road are pretty terrible. But if you got a Jeep, a truck, something with 4-wheel drive, just in case, you're going to be okay. But there it is off of exit 259, Agua Fria National Monument. There goes my phone beeping off, so I really should put that on mute. So there's that. And then this is the site right here, the Pueblo La Plata. That is the first real site that you'll see when you go into Agua Fria. And that site right there is pretty much the only marked ruin site in Agua Fria National Monument. That's the National Monument area. It's pretty awesome. I like places like this because there's been no archaeological excavation done in these locations. So when you go to these places, it's not like you're going to Tuzigut National Monument or out into Montezuma's Castle or anything like that. Some people would just walk by these areas. Another area I'm going to show you in a little bit near Sedona is just like this. You're standing on history, folks, when you go out to this location. This is the only sign that's going to show you that you're going to take a left off of what they call the main dirt road onto another worse dirt road and then go about another mile back. And what you're going to see, I did my best. I had some drone shots of this place and I could not find them, so I apologize for that. But this is really what you're going to be looking at after you travel in and get in there. And what we don't do is we don't go into the middle of these ruins. We don't step on these ruins or anything like that or remove anything. But as you're walking back, you're stepping on thousands and thousands of shards of pottery. They are just everywhere. Beautiful pottery, painted pottery, black and white pottery. All this pottery you're stepping on because it's all just in the ground area there. And when you get back to this section, you can actually walk around it. When a buddy of mine, when we went out there, the big thing you got to watch out for back there are snakes. And you will hear them. You'll hear those rattlesnakes. And you'll know that that's not the place to go. You'll know that you might want to take a different turn, but they're inside of this ruin right here, folks. And the hair on the back of your neck will stand up and you'll move to a different direction. But that is it. It's a huge area. A lot of rooms were there. You can walk up a little bit on the dirt area and look into it, and you can see all the rooms that are there. But these walls, they were standing for over 600 years. And this is what they're in now, but a really unbelievable area. Don't have a great shot off in the distance there, but there's a canyon in the back there, about 100 yards off of this site. Absolutely beautiful back there. There are some petroglyphs. If you go back a little bit farther, you'll find 1 or 2 petroglyphs. You won't find too many around where they actually lived, but Awesome spot in Agua Fria. If you get a chance, an opportunity to go out there, make sure you go with somebody. Make sure you plan out your route. Make sure you take plenty of water, snacks. Make sure that your car, believe me, make sure your car is in great working order. It's going to be about a 22 to 23 mile hike out to the exit from this area right here, folks. And then off that exit, there is nothing. Said your bloody basin, and there's no next couple. There's no gas for help, so you're working. You make sure your phone is. But an unbelievable spot. Check it out, Agua Fria National Monument. All right, where are we at here? Where's that at? There it is, right there. All right, that's the first spot. Let's jump on to the next one, and I'm going to try to go to a little bit different spot because we got a couple of old, ancient Native American sites that we're going to be looking at today. But one of them is a great hiking area. It's the largest municipal park in the United States, and that is South Mountain Park, folks. South Mountain is an unbelievable park with so many unbelievable trails. And my fixation a couple of years ago on South Mountain Park were the petroglyphs that are located out there. There was a book done on South Mountain with documenting thousands upon thousands of ancient petroglyphs, hundreds and hundreds of years old. And if you go and they actually have a visitor center at the main part of South Mountain. If you go into that visitor center, they got like 4 or 5 huge pictures up on the wall of these 4 unbelievable petroglyph sites. But the thing is, they will not tell you where those petroglyph sites are located. They are scared that people are going to go up there and destroy them. I do understand that. On one of the trails that I'm going to show you in a minute, one of those sites, when you get up to the trailhead, and this is a very, very busy trailhead. Once you get up there, you'll see these signs. They'll tell you about the trail, the flowers, everything you're going to see along the trail. And then they show you 2 really unbelievable petroglyph sites. And those are the same ones that are hanging up in the visitor center, but they don't tell you the location. So I went out and tried to find a location of these petroglyphs. And I was out there in July, August, plenty of water, sunscreen, getting out there trying to find these places, have binoculars. Nobody's on the trail at that point. And I'm like, I got to find these. And let me show you what I found on the trail. And I take people to see these all the time. I just don't, people don't, when I'm out there and I'm pointing to them, people who are walking or hiking these trails, they usually have headphones in. A lot of bikers on this trail, mountain bikers, they don't know what we're looking at. So nobody turns around to see, to ask me. I would show them, but they just think I'm looking up at a bird or something. But this is phenomenal right here. And this is almost right in your face on that trail, but most people don't see it. They're so fixated on the trail, they don't look to the right or to the left. But check this out. Check out that petroglyph wall. That's South Mountain, folks. I'm going to tell you, that is very close when you're coming off of the Mormon Trail. When you're on that and you're coming down that is sitting right in front of you. And what's really crazy is there's a small wood fence, very small wood fence, that sits around it because they actually put these little signs that you actually had to get close to read, telling you not to get any closer to this area. It's a protected area. Well, nobody knows why it's a protected area. They might think there's some plants there, or they just don't want hikers hiking through that area. They want to preserve it. No, this is why. This is why. And if people look straight up when they were coming off the Mormon Trail there, they would see this petroglyph rock. And it is so well preserved. It's absolutely beautiful. It truly is absolutely beautiful. But the thing is, part of the day, the sun is coming at a certain angle. It's not hitting this rock, but you don't want to look into it because you're getting blinded by the sun. And this is actually protected by the sun because there's a little overhang up on top that's protecting any of the sun from beating down on it over the last couple hundred years. But just a beautiful thing. These are the kind of things that you can find in South Mountain Park if you just go out there for the day to search for petroglyphs along the trailhead. You will find this along the trailhead, guaranteed. It's not off of it. It's not like you got to hike somewhere else to find it. This is on the main trailhead. It's a phenomenal petroglyph, folks. Absolutely phenomenal. All right, graphics up here. Really quick, I'm going to throw that graphic up there. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Check it out. I got everything that I show you is on all of those social media pages. You want to find out how I found them? You want to take that trip with me? Go to my YouTube channel. You want a shorter trip, really quick, less than 50 seconds? Hit my TikTok account. All at the Arizona Timeless Tours, folks. All right, so also with inside of a little bit more hidden on the trail, but it is off of the main trail. When I say off the main trail, I'm talking like, I don't know, 10 feet. You just got to look. But this one is a little bit more well hidden, but this is on the sign coming in. It's awesome. I hope you can see with my ugly mug in the picture there. Check that wall out. The top of that wall, like the stuff on the coming to the bottom is a little bit older, a little bit more worn out. Very little, if no graffiti anywhere around this particular rock art. But that rock art, I have a better picture of the top, is so intricate, so beautiful. I mean, you can stand and look at that all day. The crazy, crazy thing about this one here is when you're coming off and I do not know the other trail they're just coming off of, you're looking down right onto this. But again, there are so many rocks in South Mountain Park that look like this. They're this color that if you don't get down to where I'm standing right there, you won't see this rock art. It's like almost invisible. I think that's the way it's been preserved over all this time. But that is a beautiful, beautiful rock art wall right there. Those two right there are some of the best I've seen in South Mountain, because other ones in South Mountain Park are kind of your ones and twos. You know, there's maybe one on this rock and two on this rock. These last two rocks I've shown you are absolutely sensational, and you can find them if you just open your eyes in South Mountain. They're all over. They're on most trails. You'll find some phenomenal petroglyph sites. Has anybody been out to South Mountain and found some petroglyphs that you want to share? If you do, just throw it into the chat and I'll stick it up here. But take that off of there. Time for another cup of coffee, another sip of coffee here. Let's check out the chat real quick. That chat's not too active today. Not too active. All right, let's move on to the next site. Let's bring it up. Oh, I can hear something's going on out there. I can hear some sirens on the outside of the house. Let's go down here to the graphics section. Where do we want to go next? So we covered Agua Fria National Monument. We covered the petroglyphs in South Mountain Park. Great, great park. Next, we are going great park to take tourists from out of town. Get them there before June, July, and August, and enjoy yourself in South Mountain Park. All right, let's go. Okay, before I bring up the pictures, we're going to talk about the Arizona History Museum in Tucson. We chatted a little bit about this yesterday when we were talking about the bell, the USS Arizona bell, one of the two bells remaining from the Arizona, and one of them is located at the University of Arizona, which is right across the street from the Arizona History Museum. This museum, I'm telling you, I've lived in Washington, I've lived in Alexandria, Virginia for 3 years. I know what great museums and monuments look like. I've lived in 7 or 8 different states, folks. I've seen a lot of places, and I've seen a lot of history museums. This museum is not one of the biggest museums I've ever been in, but the artifacts, the history that the Arizona History Museum has in it in Tucson, man, I was there for about 2.5 hours. I went for one reason and one reason only, folks. They were going to put a an object on display that they've had since the 1980s. And I haven't not seen it on display. And I went to their website and saw that they were going to put it out. So I was going for this hour and a half drive downtown Tucson to see this. And then I stayed for like 2.5 hours. And so here it is. Without further ado, this is why I went. You're going to be like, huh? But I'm bringing it up right there. Bang. That's why I went right there. What's inside that case right there? That gun, that rifle. What is that? That rifle right there is the rifle that Geronimo, that was owned by Geronimo. And we'll go into how we know that that was owned by Geronimo. That was owned by Geronimo. And it was given to Indian agent John Clum in 1877. And so what happened in 1877? Well, that was when Geronimo was actually captured. People have said time and time again that I'm wrong on that. And I'm like, go back in your history, read about the 1877, and that Geronimo was captured in 1877 by 100 Apache police from the San Carlos Reservation under Indian agent John Clum. They marched 400 miles, folks, to capture Geronimo. They hid out. Geronimo thought he was with his group. He saw the agent John Clum came out. John Clum had a signal to the other Apache police. This is what I'll do if I think that my life is in danger or Geronimo is not going to surrender. Geronimo did not realize that all these people had surrounded him. And when he did figure that out, he gave a very angry look at John Clum and handed this actual weapon to John Clum. And then they marched 400 miles back to San Carlos. And how do I know that this is the gun? Well, other than the history society there has told me, and everything that you can read about it is up on the wall behind me. I have been in contact with his, I believe, 2 times great grandson, who's in his 80s, of John Clum's great grandson, who lives in Los Angeles, California. Got a hold of him through a family member, and we talked. And he is the one who donated this particular rifle to the Arizona History Museum. He, as a kid, they used to see this gun around the house all the time as a kid. Everybody knew the history of this particular weapon. So that's how I know that that is the exact gun that Geronimo gave to John Clum back in 1877. So that is on display. I think it's still on display today. You know, they change stuff out all the time. To your left of that weapon, there is another one in there, and it was supposed to be the rifle of Al Sieber, one of the greatest scouts during the Apache Wars that America had ever seen. His life is unbelievable. I'll do that on another episode of Good Morning Arizona. But the gun was out to be cleaned. I was like, of all days, the gun was out to be cleaned on the day that I went, like on a Tuesday morning. The museum had just opened. This is a couple months ago. I went down there. The museum had been closed for like 6 months during the pandemic, and they just opened. I was the only one for 2.5 hours in this extraordinary museum. They had some extraordinary artifacts in it. I'm going to take a break. You can look at this picture. I'm going to just drink another cup of coffee real quick before I pull my ugly mug back up. Sorry about that, folks. All right. So that section that I'm standing into is all about Geronimo. The famous Geronimo picture where he's down on one knee and stuff like that. They tell you how they staged that shot. Shot wasn't just taken out in the middle of nowhere and stuff. They actually staged that shot at San Carlos. Really unbelievable history right there. Let me take that off of there. So yeah. Anyone have any questions on this stuff so far? I've got another thing I'm going to talk about in that museum that changed the way I look at history. I've talked about this numerous times on numerous podcasts, on TikToks, on my lives for YouTube, but I'm going to talk about it again this morning because it really changed the way I look at an unbelievable piece of Arizona history, and then the gentleman that we just look at, and there are hundreds of books written about this guy. And I don't know if those books should have been written after reading the fact that I found in an old newspaper clipping in that museum. But they have I didn't bring it up, but Santa Anna, the famous General Santa Anna for Mexico during the siege on the for Mexican independence. He was in the Battle of the Alamo. He stormed the Alamo. His actual dress uniform is in that museum. I'm like, what? Yeah, it was just some. They have some silver from the days of the 1500s, from the Spanish conquistador era. And this silver will blow your mind, how much silver and how much. I mean, I'm like, this thing must have a security alarm that I can't see. It must be like in that one movie with was it Sean Connery and I can't remember, where they have all the lasers pointing and she's got to get through the lasers and stuff like that. There must be these invisible lasers around this silver, because this is a pretty unbelievable display you got behind this glass right here. All right. So what am I talking about? This was hanging on the wall. This is the best picture I got, so please forgive me. It was hanging on the wall, back in the spotlight. A controversial decision. That's a cartoon at the right of the gentleman. What does it say, folks? I'm not going to read this thing word for word because I can barely read it on here. But I've talked about it numerous times, so I pretty much got it memorized. Back on December 2nd, it says here in 1896, 15,000 people gathered in San Francisco, California to watch a boxing championship fight. All right. So really quick, the fight took place, and during the fight, it looked like one individual was definitely going to win. Everybody knew it. The crowd knew it. The majority of the crowd knew it. The guys who were covering the boxing match, the professionals, knew who was going to win this fight. And at the end of the fight, the referee called an illegal blow and gave the fight to the other individual. And I won't go into the names of the individuals of boxing because they're kind of irrelevant to this conversation. Now the crowd, the 15,000 people in the crowd, knew that the fix was on. And those who were there analyzing the boxing match knew that the fix was on with the referee. And the referee did get paid for throwing the fight. Now, who was this referee? This is, remember, folks, we're talking December of 1896 in San Francisco, California. The referee's name was none other than Wyatt Earp. Wyatt Earp. I'm looking at this thing. I actually went and got the lady who worked at the museum because, again, nobody else was there. And I said, is this true? She's like, absolutely. That's actually a brand new exhibit there. It's only been up there for a couple of weeks, she said. That came from a paper. And if you got one of these newspaper subscriptions, you can actually go to this newspaper in San Francisco on the 2nd of December of 1896 and find the article. It's actually there, folks. And so what happens is the fight is thrown, and they want to know who this corrupt referee is that took this money for throwing this fight. So they start digging it up. Now, I just told you it's Wyatt Earp. Now, when did the shootout at the OK Corral happen? The shootout at the OK Corral happened in 1881. This is what? 1881 to 1881 to 1891, 92, 93, 94, 95, 6. We're talking less than 15 years after this huge shootout at the OK Corral. What we all know about today, we all know about the Wyatt brothers, Doc Holliday. We all know about the McClarys and the Clantons. We all know about this. We all traveled to Tombstone because of the shootout at the OK Corral that took less than 30 seconds. Yet, 14 and a half to 15 years later, you have this referee that nobody knows who Wyatt Earp is. Think about that for a second. Let me take this down for just a second. Nobody knows who Wyatt Earp is. And we think that everybody knew about the shootout at the OK Corral. Everybody knew Doc Holliday, right, folks? Everybody knew Wyatt Earp and his brothers, right? They knew him in Kansas and the lawman and all this. No. And they started investigating this guy named Wyatt Earp. and they found out about they quoted in the thing his antics in Tombstone. I put up the wrong picture there. I'm sorry. They found out about his antics in Tombstone and how they had a fight there and how he was a lawman and then how he ran some things that weren't very lawful, and they started publishing it in the papers. Think about that. How do you look at history? What do you think about Wyatt Earp now? What do you think about the shootout at the OK Corral now? What do you think about visiting Tombstone, Arizona now? Because if he would have never officiated that 1896 bout, that championship fight, then guess what, folks? I don't think we would have ever heard of Wyatt Earp and his brothers. We would have never heard of Doc Holliday. We definitely would have never heard of that 30-second shootout at the OK Corral. And what would Tombstone be today? Because it is a tourist town today. That's why people go there. 2 major motion pictures on Tombstone have been made in the early 90s with some very, very famous actors playing the main parts. None of those movies would have been made because they wouldn't have needed to be made because nobody would have known. 15 years after this huge event that we all think about all the time, hundreds of books and articles have been written about him. Many movies and even old westerns have been made about him. And if he wouldn't have officiated that fight 14 to 15 years later, I don't believe we would have ever heard about Wyatt Earp. That's why it says there's a few signs to the right of that sign says, now, what do you think about history? Do you look at Wyatt Earp the same way? And I don't. It really blew me away, folks. I couldn't believe what I was reading, had to come back and investigate it myself. And lo and behold, it is true. So what do you think? Leave it in the chat. Do you see that as something different now? Because, everybody takes that 2.5-hour drive from the valley to go to Tombstone. And people come from across the world to go to Tombstone. And the reason they do it is for the shootout at the OK Corral. And thank the reporters back in the 1890s in San Francisco for digging up this information, because I believe Wyatt Earp, in my personal opinion, would have just went down as another gunslinger of the hundreds of Western gunslingers that we had. That's all he would have been noted for. He would have been a footnote in history. Okay, let's go down here. Justin, I'm sorry I missed your thing if you have left already. It says, gotta go get to work, but we'll hit you for a cheap trip with you. Absolutely love Arizona history. Sounds good. All over. Probably not originally owned by Geronimo then. All over. Probably not originally owned by Geronimo then. I don't, maybe I'm reading that wrong. What are you saying here? All over. That this wasn't Geronimo's weapon? Is that what you're saying? Let's go here. Put this one up here. I believe, I do, seeing this comment, I just want to tell people I do tours all the time. Just get a hold of me through my email that's always linked to everything. Send me a time what's good for you to go. On my YouTube channel, I have a thing called the Arizona Timeless Tours. You can check it out. And those are the tours that I give throughout the state of Arizona. There are 3 tours. It's a Pioneer Cemetery. There's a Ruins tour. There's the Moon tour up there in Flagstaff, where all the astronauts trained. Is Morgan Earp buried in Tombstone? He is not. None of the Earp brothers are buried in Tombstone. They all left. Oh, look at that. Look at that. I didn't turn the phone down like I said I was going to. So let me do that right now. Very, very impressionable, right? There we go. All right. So, folks. Alrighty. As I wait to all over to if he wants to throw another comment on there, let's go up here to the graphic site. Did I put... They have in there, yeah, they have these in there. Those are Wyatt Earp's wedding bands right there. Wyatt Earp's wedding bands. They have his weapons. A lot of social media outlets are not too happy with you showing stuff like that. So I'm not going to show it. But they have a lot of Wyatt Earp memorabilia in this museum. It was just put up it's been up for a couple months now, but only a couple weeks prior to me getting there. But these are his wedding bands. Pretty cool piece of history right there. Take that off of there. All right, let's go check that chat out again. Still nothing in the chat. I also do one-on-one speaking engagements, folks. You got people coming into town. You can hire me for an hour to talk, or you can hire me for a 20-minute one-on-one consultation. You tell me what you want to go look at. I get some stuff together. We sit down, maybe over a cup of coffee, or over the phone, or over a Zoom call, and we'll go through some great places that aren't so touristy to take your friends, your relatives, your family out to check out. Geronimo's rifle for sure, but not one. Oh, no, definitely not one owner. Yeah. Can only guess what happened to the original owner. Yeah. Okay. No, we're on the same page now, all over. Understood. Yes. They didn't own weapons. I just got done with the book. And I'm sorry, I'm just looking. I you know what? The book is in the other room. On the Comanche Indians, mostly in the Texas, Oklahoma area. And that's going to be a topic of a YouTube video soon. But they didn't have weapons, until the Spanish came over in the 1500s and stuff like that. But yeah, you're 100% there. Yeah, he got that weapon from somebody. All right, let's move on to the next spot. This probably be the last spot because we have been rolling on here for over 41 minutes. That's actually longer than I ever really want to go here on Good Morning Arizona. So let's bring up the captions here. Where can you find Dean is right there, and do check out the podcast, folks. Put a lot of work in that podcast. We got 24 episodes. Probably gonna put the 25th episode out in the next couple of days. I like to get it out over the weekend. Gets the most listens to at that point. Over 1,500 listens on 24 podcasts. Again, we're a speck of sand on all the seashores of all the world of podcasters. There are thousands upon thousands of just Arizona podcasters. So if you go check it out, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Anchor, all the podcasting platforms at the Arizona Timeless Tourist. All right, we're done with the commercial. We'll put back up the Good Morning Arizona coffee time. Let's take a little sip of coffee. Everybody take a sip of coffee if you got it for our last episode. I'm wearing this shirt today for the opening of the Major League Baseball season right there. Arizona Diamondbacks are in San Diego today, I believe at 1:10. 1:10. Hope these Diamondbacks, I don't know what kind of season to expect from the Arizona Diamondbacks. I expected a lot more from the Coyotes. And if you watched that Coyotes game last night, ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't, it was 5-1. 5-1 at the end of the first period. It was 5-1 4 or 5 minutes before the end of the first period. Disastrous play by the Arizona Coyotes last night. I mean, I don't think in the history of my life I've seen a hockey game where a team was down 4 goals and allowed 5 goals to be scored with 4 minutes left in the first period of play. Now, I will give it to the Coyotes. They came back and made it 5-2. And then in the end, last period, I think they made it 5-3. And then all of a sudden it went to 6-3. And then it went to 7-3. And I don't know. I think it might have went to 8-3. I ain't even going to check the final score because I turned it off with 7 minutes left in the third period. But come on, Coyotes. So hopefully the Diamondbacks have a great year. They really do have above average pitching staff. So hopefully, I believe Bumgarner's on as a starting pitcher tonight, of course. So check out the Arizona Diamondbacks, San Diego Padres. Let's root on those Diamondbacks. First home game, 9 April, 20,000 fans authorized in Chase Field. Should be a good time, folks. Should be a good time. And then you got the Phoenix Suns lighting it up, right? The Phoenix Suns Some people forgot the Suns still had a basketball team. And here they are. What an unbelievable season for the Phoenix Suns. Great job. All right, off of that baseball, off the basketball, off the hockey, and on to this next location. All right, this is going to be a little different. I'm going to have to redo this location at a certain point. This is a big topic on TikTok, folks. I want to say I told you yesterday on the live on Good Morning Arizona that I had over 1 million views on a 50-second TikTok, 2 TikToks, 50 seconds each, telling you how to get to this location and about this location. And I tell you about 2 locations on that TikTok, so I dedicate like 20 seconds to this location. And they both got over 500, I believe 500,000 views on TikTok. You can go check it out there. What you're looking at is Sacred Mountain. Now, a lot of people get upset that I tell people where Sacred Mountain is, and I do not understand that, because where did I learn about Sacred Mountain? Well, right down the road, there is a preserved petroglyph site that's owned by a group of individuals. It's a National Historic Landmark. I will show that to you next week. We won't have time this week to get into that. You pass that to get to this. The individual who spoke to me on those petroglyphs out there, told me where the people who put those petroglyphs on that rock lived. I had to find it, but he's like, people are authorized to go up there. You can't touch anything. There's an actual sign up there. It's crazy. There's a sign up there. And you're going to pay a $100,000 fine, or you're going to jail for a long time if you remove any artifact from Sacred Mountain. And believe me, folks, just like out at Agua Fria, I didn't say it at the time we went over Agua Fria, but there are cameras stationed around Agua Fria. You may not see them, but they're there. All right. So which one is Sacred Mountain? This information I'm giving to you, I think, over those million viewers on TikTok who could not find it, they actually messaged me. A lot of people came from far away to try to find this, and I didn't see the message soon enough. They're like, look, we're here. We can't find it. We can't find it. That hill that you're looking to on your right, see how much different it is than the hill on the left? Okay, these are not mountains. They don't even really look like mesas. The one on the right is the one that you want. And I always tell people, when you look there, there's a pull-off. That's a good mile hike back to that location, back to that hill on the right. It's a lot farther than it looks. And there's a trail that states no motorized vehicles go any farther. No motorcycles, no bikes. They want nothing going back that direction but your own 2 feet. When you get back there and you go up on top of that hill on your right, that is called Sacred Mountain. Those are the people, the Sinagua, that made those petroglyphs that are about a couple miles up the road. And what's up on Sacred Mountain? So remnants of a 30 to 40 room pueblo up there, pottery shards, grinding stones, really awesome area. But I'm going to tell you this, before you get up to the top, there is a sign. And that sign will tell you what's going to happen to you if you touch or remove anything from this land here. Let me show you one of the pieces of pottery that I found on the ground that I took a picture of up there. Right there, folks. Check that out. It's right before you got to the top. I looked down, and there's this beautiful piece of pottery laying on the ground there. That area, I will talk more about that next week, Sacred Mountain, but that area is absolutely phenomenal. Off of exit 298, off of the I-17. If you're going to Sedona, you're going to turn left off the 298, where most people do. You want to turn right off of exit 298. It's about, I would say, 4.5 miles down that. It's a paved road. Then it comes a 1-lane road. You go over a 1-lane bridge. You go past a national historic area, and then you go about another mile down, and on your left, you'll see a pull off, and it's to this area, Sacred Mountain. Some unbelievable stuff up there. Been up there a couple of times. Actually, I went back up there just because I got so much hate on TikTok saying from people leaving messages that I'm going to ruin it for everybody, because I told them where a site is that you can find on the internet or in any major book that you find on ruins in the area. It's all in there. They sell these books at major bookstores throughout the United States. So I went back up there. The area looked exactly like it did a year and a half prior to me taping that first video on YouTube. So if you want to see it, the whole thing, go to my YouTube video on Sacred Mountain. This here is the actual, I believe that's the actual thumbnail I use for the YouTube video if you want to find it quicker. But it's in the top like 20 of my last 20 YouTube videos. We had a great time going up there. A lot of stuff. Again, pottery shards, grinding stones, 40 to maybe a little bit, 50 to 60 room Pueblo up there. Pretty good size, but it looks exactly like the images I showed you of Agua Fria. No archaeological dig done out there. So I apologize that I took you guys over almost to an hour here. We're over 50 minutes this morning. This is the longest Good Morning Arizona show we've done, and this is the third one. So we'll keep it up. Share it on Facebook, the Arizona Time Was Tours Facebook and YouTube channel. And let me pop that off there. Let me go to the chat and make sure I didn't miss anything. I don't think I did. There's the all over what he wrote in there, which is absolutely right. That wasn't he was not the original owner of the weapon. Let's see here. Yeah, all over. I just saw that. Laugh out loud. Wyatt Earp probably had money on the other guy. I would probably 100% agree with you on that. Yeah. Hey, there she is. I'm glad you stopped by, Jewel. Thank you so much for checking out the live. Hope you enjoy it. I enjoy doing these, folks. I really do. Even if I don't have something going on early in the morning, I will set my alarm to get up to do these shows because I truly enjoy doing it. So I think I'm going to stop it there. We'll bring up the final graphic. There's where you can find me. And I'm also on the podcast, Arizona Time Was Tours. I appreciate everyone who supports it. It is greatly appreciated. I just have a good time doing this. And we're hitting 4 years of traveling around the great state of Arizona, hitting about 185 plus locations. That's why if we minimize it to 3 to 4 locations a day, we're going to go on this for months, folks. I will be on early to tell you about these spots. Leave me a message on social media if you think that there's a spot that I need to get to. If you want to schedule me for a tour or a speaking engagement or a one-on-one consultation, or if there's a site that you want me to cover that you don't think I've covered yet, just pop over to any one of the social media outlets and stick it in there. Do an instant message from within inside Facebook. I see that first. But appreciate everybody. Till next time, take care of yourselves.